I've spent 3 months documenting the pursuit of my Olympic dream. Last week, I took my shot. I ended up running 9:21 and getting the Olympic standard, but I placed 7th at the US Olympic trials, and sadly, my Olympic dream has come to an end. I'm not going to the Olympics. That sucks. But I was always realistic about my chances, and I knew it was a long shot. However, I did allow myself to dream and believe that it was truly possible. Even though I didn't make it, I still loved sharing the entire process, and I wanted to use this video to talk about Olympic qualification, why I didn't make it, what some of my biggest takeaways were from this, and what's coming up next. I wanted to explain a little bit how qualifying for the Olympics works because it's a bit confusing. So basically, every event has an Olympic standard that you have to reach in order to be qualified for the Olympics. You can also qualify through world ranking, but that is very complicated and I'm not going into it because I certainly don't understand. Some countries have a really large depth of talent in certain events or all the events. So there are more than 3 people that qualify to the Olympics, in which case there has to be some sort of a system for deciding which 3 get to go. In the case of the US, we do a trials, which is basically a large track meet that's set up similar to the Olympic Games, where every event is contested and the top 3 in each event are the ones that earn those Olympic spots. The UK does a trials and a committee decision. Some countries just do a committee decision. It varies a lot across the world. There's no one system, which is confusing. There's some controversy about whether the trial system is the best way to do it, but I personally really love it because not only does it give everyone who qualifies to the Olympic trials a shot and a chance in that little slice of belief, but it also makes for a very exciting track meet with high stakes and all of the best in the country competing. Even though my chances going into the trials were small, I did feel some momentum coming off of my win at Portland with a PR, and I was really excited about where I was headed, but I knew that it would take a perfect day for me to make the team. Unfortunately, I didn't have a perfect day. I made some tactical and technical errors, and I also got COVID 9 days before the prelims, which might have impacted my race. I'm not trying to make excuses for myself. It just is something that did happen. But either way, I think it took 9:07 to make the team, which is the fastest that it's ever been. I don't think even on my perfect day, I would have had that in me. I got 7th, 9:21. It wasn't a complete letdown. It obviously wasn't what I was hoping for either, but I really enjoyed this season and I had some big takeaways that I wanted to share as I finish up this Olympic Dreams chapter and move on to what's next. So my first takeaway is that I'm proud. Going back to track this year after having had some injuries, recovering from an ED, switching sponsors, it was really scary because I knew that I had high standards to live up to from the PRs I had in the past, as well as the standards I hold in my own brain. Letting myself down and being disappointed was definitely an option, but I knew that if I didn't go after it this year, I would always wonder what could have been. So I'm proud that I put myself out there, and I'm really, really happy that I was not only able to reach the level I had been before, but exceed that, running a couple PRs, getting 7th at the trials, and running the 20th fastest time in the year. That is way more than I had hoped for when I decided to start this training block. And even though my expectations got higher as it went along, I'm still really proud of what I did. Takeaway 2, I loved it. This is the most fun I've ever had during a track season in my life. After I had a breakout freshman cross country season in college, I just felt a lot of pressure after that to live up to that, and because of that, races felt scary and more of a test than an opportunity. I started wanting to drop out of every single race I was in pretty much from 2017 until the beginning of this year. When it got hard, I just thought, oh, I might as well just drop out. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I won't be able to run to the level that I want to the level people expect. It's embarrassing to run less than that. And I just had these ideas built up in my head that really took the fun out of racing. This year, that's gone. Like, I enjoyed racing every single time. When it got hard, it felt a very purposeful hard. Like, okay, yeah, it's really hard, but I want it to be hard. Racing should be hard, and I have so much to gain from this experience, even if it doesn't go how I want it to. And I don't know exactly what caused this mindset shift, but I'm here for it. I think a lot of it is the positive coaching style of David, and then also just partially how grateful I was to be back on the track and to have this experience. Combination of things, but I really want to try to harness that through all the rest of my coming track seasons because it made it very enjoyable. 3 is consistency. Frequently throughout this buildup, I had to take days off because of little aches and pains that came up. I had to replace workouts with cross-training workouts, and I kept getting so frustrated by this and being like, oh, I will never be successful if I can't be consistent. But then I realized that it's not inconsistent, it's just my consistency. Yes, I might replace every 5th workout with cross-training, and I might cross-train 2 days every weekend, and I might only do 1 long run a month. That doesn't mean I'm inconsistent, it just means I'm doing what works for me. It's what I need to do. And one of the things I was able to remain very consistent with throughout my training this year was my hydration, and that is thanks to Element, which is a tasty electrolyte beverage with a scientifically based formulation of electrolytes. It has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Everything you need and nothing that you don't. It also now comes in these delicious, slightly sparkling seltzers, which are just amazing. They really motivate me to hydrate because I look forward to drinking them every day. They're so delicious. Element has been a consistent part of my routine for over a year now, and if you would like to try Element, you can get a free sample pack with any order. Just go to drinkelement.com/Allie or go to the link in my description. And as always, stay salty, my friends. Number 4, look, I have to say it. Part of me wishes I were from another country. I want to be at the Olympics. I have run the Olympic standard and it just makes me wish I had citizenship in another country. But of course, I realized I had advantages growing up being from the US. Part of the reason for my success is where I was raised and the environment I was raised in. So I obviously understand why that isn't how this works. It's not just the top 30 times in the world that get to go. Part of me is like, ooh, but what if? But I definitely wouldn't change it. My 5th takeaway is roll the tapes. I documented this entire thing, and not only was it the most fun I've had during a track season, but it's the most fun I've ever had on YouTube. I really love the spirit that the Olympics bring and the excitement around them, and I felt it and really loved being able to show some of the process behind even trying to make the Olympics. I was not one of the athletes that made it, and you saw how much I dedicated myself to it. And so I think that that really helped shed light on how special it is to earn one of those Olympic spots and how much it takes. And I also hope that this series can show that failing to reach a goal is not for lack of effort. It's just sometimes your goals are lofty and you don't quite get there. A lot of the purpose of a goal is dedicating yourself towards that goal and doing everything you can to get there. And I know that I did that. And so I'm not disappointed in myself for not making the Olympics. Yeah, I wish I did, but I'm still super proud of everything I did to get to this failure. Failure is not a bad thing, it just has a bad connotation, and we need to rework that in our brains. Number 6 is support. I had so much family and friends with me at the Olympic trials and through every stage of this training cycle, and they were really instrumental in me being able to not only enjoy this season, but also just feel very loved and supported in the pursuit of my goals. Everyone around me realized that making the Olympic team was a long shot, but they all supported me and believed in me every step of the way. And that means so much. And I also felt such an outpouring of support through social media and the community that we have here. So thank you guys for that. I felt it. Competing at this level of sport is hard, mentally, physically, emotionally, but I loved this season so much. At no point during this build-up did I ever regret trying to pursue this or think about quitting. And that makes me confident that I'll return again. I may not know what I'm eating for lunch tomorrow, but I do know that I'll be trying for more Olympic teams. I'm already daydreaming about LA 2028 and Brisbane 2032, so you know I'll be back on the track and that I'll share every step of the way. Thank you so much for following along on this Olympic Dreams series, and if you would please subscribe, I would really appreciate it. There's lots more coming. Very exciting things are in our future. So if you would subscribe, it really helps my channel. But yeah, thank you for watching. And that's all for now, folks.